So one thing I've always really admired about GoHighLevel is your ability to create automated workflows. So in this brief tutorial, I'm going to at least introduce you to this section where you can create a set of activities that you can automate that's associated or aligned with your business. Now, I know if you're just getting into this space, it's going to be kind of difficult to know what to automate, what workflow to create. And the great part about what I'm going to show you in this video is that you could actually use AI to do this. Now, there's two sides to what you would use AI to do, right? Inside of GoHighLevel, you can build using AI. So you can create a prompt and you could tell it, when someone submits a form, I want you to do these three things and space it out by 2 days. Or if they do this, do that. Like you could essentially script or prompt that into GoHighLevel, which is great. So if I were to click on form automation, and these are just examples here, I could have when the contact form is submitted, create a contact record, send confirmation email to the submitter, notify the team via SMS, and then create a follow-up task in 2 days. And it will create that. Now, if you're just getting into the space, you're not really going to know, like, is that what I want to automate? So what you can do is you can go into Claude, ChatGPT, or whatever your AI of choice is, and you could explain what some of your business objectives are and say that you want it to provide you with some ideas on things to automate. You will then take that and you would bring it here so that you could actually create your workflow. Now, if you want some examples of this, I have a checklist down in the description. Click the link and it's gonna go through a couple different industries and it'll walk you through a couple of things that you can automate that will support your your business from a customer acquisition, lead nurture, and even a closing standpoint. All right. Now, with this example that I have in here, when contact form is submitted, create the record. What I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this just so you can see the process. All right. Now, the first thing that I love that it does is it's going to analyze what you told it. And most times, it didn't do it this time, but most times, if it needs a little bit more context from you, it's going to start asking you questions. So because there were enough details inside of the prompt, it went ahead and just created it, right? So the first step here, well, actually, no, I'll start over here with the build. Like it's gonna tell you what it did. So the form trigger, it fires when a contact form is submitted. So inside of GoHighLevel, you'll have a number of forms created. You might have these forms embedded across a ton of landing pages, a ton of website forms. You'll have it embedded everywhere. When a specific form is submitted, it's going to start these steps. So we're going to create and update a contact record. We're going to send a confirmation email. We're going to notify the team, and then we're going to create a follow-up task. And as you can see here on the right side, that's exactly what it did. Form submitted is the trigger. If I wanted to add additional triggers, I could. So that's one thing that I do like about this as well. I could say, well, if a form is submitted, or if someone clicked on this particular link, or if somebody revisited this page. So there's a lot of different triggers you can create. I'm going to create an update the contact record. Now, this is important for many of you if you are you're generating leads, right? So after someone submits a form, you're going to want to have their information created as its own contact inside of your account, right? So now you can do other things with them. You could follow up with them. You could look at what emails they've received, what conversations you've had with them. You want to create that contact record so you can do a lot more with this person, right? The next thing that it does is going to send a confirmation email to this submitter. Now, if I click into this, the cool part about GoHighLevel too is that it does draft an email for you, which in some cases it works. Most times you will have to come in here and just refine it a little bit. All right. Now, when it says send confirmation email to submitter, I want you to really know this. This is nothing more than just a title for the task, right? Like this isn't exactly what it's doing. You're configuring exactly what it's doing below. So I could rename this. I could change what this is. This is just a description. All right. The reason I bring that up is because I have had some other members of my community, and they were like, oh, what if it doesn't say exactly what I wanted to do? This is just This is just a description. All right. The from name, this is where you could identify you. So when you have your account configured, a lot of times this is going to pre-populate. All right. So this is my demonstration account. So I'm not, it's not pre-populating, but if you did want to, just input your information, you essentially would be a user because you could have multiple users on the same account. You could input your full name, and then under your user, you would essentially input your user email. So if you have, say, five people inside of the account, you could technically change who the from address is based off of who created or who's sending the actual the email. Now, under subject, this is where you can personalize the subject and the preview text as well. So I could input, thank you for your submission. Now, here's the big difference, right? Because this also confuses a lot of people. Inside of the custom values, whoever's submitting it, they're not considered a user, they're considered a contact. So their first name is going to be different, right? So thank you for your submission, contact first name, not user first name. You're the user, okay? Um, uh, Quick Compose, if you wanted to use the Smart Builder with the design editor and all that stuff, you could. I personally like the Quick Compose. I think people believe that the emails are a bit more personalized when it's just like kind of flat text. So you could update your email here. You could personalize this as well. As you can see, I could enter their contact name directly inside of the email. If they gave me any answers to specific questions, I could also input that information into the email as well. And then that's really it. I'm going to save this action, right? So that's the send confirmation email. Notifying your team via SMS. This is one of those things where, again, you could essentially send a notification to folks inside of your team if they're not using the app. So I would encourage, if you are building a sales team, I would encourage you to have them use the app. um, I think that is going to give them a lot more flexibility in terms of how they're engaging with this information. But again, if you have people, let's say, out in the field, like if you're building a roofing company, or you're growing a roofing company or something like that, that's where this is valuable, because a lot of times when you're out like that, like you're checking your text a lot more than you're checking anything else. All right. Now, I'm not going to go through like, well, the last thing I'll go through here is creating a task. So you could also create a task inside of an automated workflow. And this is where, when you have different users, they could look at their task list and they could start checking stuff off. All right. I'll get into that a little bit more when I speak about the CRM stuff. I'll probably record another video on that too. Now, these are all of the things that you could do inside of a workflow. Now, again, I'm not going to go through all of this, but some of the recent actions, we're sending an email, adding a task. You could have an if else condition. You could verify the emails, which is really good, so that you don't end up on a blacklist. I'll probably record a separate video on that as well. And you could also delete contacts if they exhibit certain behaviors. Now, I do want to pause here and say this: if you've made it this far in the video, would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, because that definitely helps the channel. And it also helps with you being notified about other valuable videos like this. All right. So like and subscribe. I can't believe I have to say that, but now all of these are other activities. I could do contact level activities, assigning users, removing tags. I could do different custom objects, so I could associate different records using different data points. I could send different communications, email, SMS. I could send a Slack, a call, voicemails, Messenger. All of this stuff can essentially support you in your business because you're automating stuff. All right. If you're in this phase where you're trying to sort of figure out where you need to start with this is why a conversation with somebody like myself can really help, right? If you don't want to directly speak to me, I could definitely send you a form where you can answer some questions, and then I could send you a response. I know a lot of folks don't really like to speak directly because you feel like you're in like a sales process. I am not here to sell you anything unless you've identified that there's value on the other side of you getting these solutions in place. All right. So down in the description, there's a couple links. The first link is If you would like those notes on getting started with an automated workflow, there's a number of industries listed. The second is if you would like to hop on the line with me for a little bit so that I could kind of walk you through a couple of things, learn about your business and your objectives and point you in the right direction. There's a link for that as well. If you do not want to talk to me, there's a link for that as well. And lastly, if you want to check out GoHighLevel, if you want to use it for up to 30 days, there's a link for that as well. Submit that form and I'll create an account for you, provision it, send you some templates, and get you started so that you could at least try before you potentially buy. All right. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Peace.